You can talk about some of the news that's going on that really is going to play into this live primetime address because I think tonight's primetime address is going to be about polishing a turd. Now, Mythbusters showed that's actually possible, but still ain't pretty. Still doesn't smell nice. Um, because the track record's a disaster now. The economic numbers are so bad they're hiding more reports. That's not good. They really don't want to show the labor numbers. Um, in the news for the whole genre is kind of worsening. Um, we'll see how he addresses that during this live session. It's primetime address. Um, Stephen Miller's tweets are now just patently Fourth Reich hate messaging. I, I don't see anything else. I don't even see him trying to support some underlying policy they think is so great, even though they know they're just screwing people. He is just pushing the pure xenophobic, racism, superior race. You know, in the 1950s, when they switched predominantly from open Klan meetings to the concerned citizens councils, the CCCs, at least they knew that they most people weren't going to listen to them while they wore a robe and a pillowcase over their heads. So they put on a suit and a tie and a dress and left the Klan and went to the CCC. Um, Miller is still dressed up in a suit. He's not showing up in a white robe, but he's doing the Klan shit. I mean, a couple of his tweets have been so far out there. Um, yeah, even Joe Walsh was talking about it earlier today. Is like, man, this guy is just pining for that ethno state. Okay, his life mission is to build an ethno state. An angry guy from a liberal Jewish family in Santa Monica, California, wants a Aryan Nazi ethno state. Figure that one out. I can't. But haters are going to be haters, and this may be mental defect in a lot of ways. But let's talk. I got a couple articles here pulled up. Let's talk about why they may go a little more cray-cray, a little more over the cliff than they normally go tonight, because I can just imagine the speechwriters assembling this shit. Um, I'm assuming it's going to be way out there, even after we've been listening to the cranks be cranky, for the whole year. I think this is going to be a lot worse because a lot of the stuff they thought they could just bulldozer over the country, it's not working. Um, Inflation's over 4%. That's not a win. Okay, it's the same problem we've been facing for a long time. Um, Dear leader porn star Humper's internal need and desire. He cannot function throughout a day unless he is excoriating somebody and suing somebody. Well, the lawsuits are starting to backfire. Okay. Because suddenly you don't have CBS just rolling over or some university board and chancellor just rolling over. Some people are standing up and going, okay, you want to fight? Let's fight. Okay. They sued the Lincoln Project, lost miserably. They're going after the Lincoln Project again. Lincoln Project saying, bring it on. Don't care. Mark Elise, he's in so many court cases. What does he say? Last time he's up to 60 cases. He says they're going to fight every single one. Trump's blowback on the Pulitzer Prize Board members. Um, he didn't like what he doesn't like journalism as the fourth estate. That's the basic problem with Dear Leader. So he decided that he was going to turn around in a Florida courtroom um, because the Pulitzer Board gave Pulitzer Prizes out to reporting that documented the Russia probe. Okay. And the response from the Pulitzer board. Now, first of all, you got to understand who the Pulitzer board is. If you take everybody on the Pulitzer board plus their organization, Trump is literally suing about a third of all media journalists and journalism professors and associations all at the same time for billions of dollars. Okay. He's attacking Ann Applebaum from the Atlantic while attacking the president of the Mellon Foundation, while attacking the editor in chief of USA Today, while attacking the journalism school dean of Columbia, while attacking the editor at large at the standards of the Associated Press. Okay, the back end editor. Okay, he's going after a USC professor, Los Angeles Times executive editor. Of people that's listed in this one suit is incredible. He's trying to use one lawsuit to go after basically the entire sphere and influence of the Fourth Estate in America. Well, the Pulitzer Prize board just said, bring it, you dumb fuck. Bring it, bring it, bring it, because we get in the American courtrooms what's called discovery. And discovery is not the friend of the nationalist. And it definitely isn't the friend of dear leader porn star Humper with all the skeletons in his closet. The Pulitzer Prize board has literally clapped back hard. And they go, okay, you want to sue us? We're going to do the full Monte. We want all of your tax returns for the last 10 years. We want your psych and medical records. We want your prescription med history. Okay? Because you're not going to make statements and then turn around and say, oh, I was on medication at the time. I didn't mean that, when they turn around and countersue. Because this is all a setup to countersue Trump. And it's beautiful. Okay? This is happening at the same time British folks are getting pissed. Okay? They see Trump's similar attack against the BBC, again for allegedly editing videos. I don't know if you've ever been interviewed on radio or TV, or been interviewed by a reporter on or off the record. I've done all the above. Okay. When you speak to the press, especially when you have an audio block or a video block, 98% of the times it's an edited situation because they have to edit it for time. I've talked about this before. Okay. No instruction block you've seen from a big company on YouTube or Reddit or whatever. It's just done on the fly. And you get a live session and they show you exactly what they did. Okay. 9 times out of 10, we record it, edit it, add effects, do the whole, production work, and then release the video. Okay. The British people are going, you want to sue BBC also for $10 billion? Then you're suing the British people for $10 billion. You're ripping us off. This is a shakedown. Like, people are literally commenting to reporters on the street and talking about this on social media in Britain, that they completely understand what's going on here. It is a 100% shakedown, like he shook down everybody else who capitulated. Finally, we get people, including Mark Kelly. Mark Kelly gave a great interview the other day, was like, I don't know, this guy makes everything up. He threatens to sue me. And what's my legal notice? Social media. And going after Kelly is going to be a free speech issue. It's also going to be a countersuit issue. The government cannot tell you what to say as long as it's not a threat, a slander, or a defamation or other libel. Okay. Mark Kelly told the truth. All those other people that work for the Army and the Navy and the CIA told the truth in that lawful orders video. Okay. It is the training we receive in basic training. It is the training that is repeated when you go through the primary leadership development course. It is again taught to you when you go through the senior NCO course. It is again taught to you when you go through the sergeant major's course. Okay. I talked to my father-in-law, the command sergeant major badass. Okay. He's like, yeah, you go through that all again at the Sergeant Major's Academy in San Antonio? Okay. It's just part and parcel to learning military law and the international agreements like status enforcement agreements, theater orders, movement orders, that sort of thing. And he didn't do anything. And he's getting sued and threatened anyways. Not to mention he's also getting death threats. Okay. But what's interesting here is you are seeing massive clapback all of a sudden at these lawsuits after so many people capitulated. Law firms, broadcasters, news outlets, universities. Okay. It took Mark Kelly, the BBC, and the Pulitzer Prize Board to stand up and go, huh, sue away. Because if you sue, you cannot just say it's a one-sided lawsuit. The person you're suing gets to discover the everything around the topic of your lawsuit. So this is going to be interesting if Trump goes to court and says, "Well, I don't have to release anything." Well, if you don't cooperate with discovery, and what is the MAGA legal avenue of choice? Okay, not to conform with discovery. Okay, Steve Bannon did it. Rudy Giuliani did it. Others who got sued in Georgia, in Arizona, in Michigan, um, did it. They just they. I'm sorry, I got somebody pinging me from work, and we don't have a scheduled meeting tonight. Okay, we got the test tones. We have test tones. Okay. Oh, by the way, I'm on the Forbes YouTube feed. Oh my God, is the comment section insane? Now I know a lot of these are bots. I know a lot of these are basement dwellers and shit, but wow. Like I don't even know why you would pay attention to a comment stream on YouTube anymore. Okay. The test tones are to set audio levels for the broadcast. It is not a test that is involving MK Ultra or ConAltel Pro. We still have about 13 minutes before it goes live. And if it's going the way the rest of the week and month have gone for Dear Leader and his crew, this could be a total shit show because nobody except the extreme assholes who are also sociopaths are digging his comments about Rob Ronners and his wife's murder. Nobody's happy with that. I mean, I cannot believe Representative Massey. He is fit to be tied over the indecency and the repulsive narcissistic nature. And he ain't the only ones. I mean, they're saying publicly and off the record comments, yeah, here come the trolls in the comments. Trump, third term, go. No, we'll be in a civil war and the country will fail and China will win the 21st century if he attempts to get a third term. Okay. Him saying, give me a third term is telling us we must surrender to the Chinese. Okay. Because it will destroy the country. I call this the Firefly scenario. You know, these ultra right, even farther right than MAGA. I was just talking about this on W. Kimmel Bell's page. He had a racist troll hit him today, and I was explaining that these guys are further right than MAGA. These are the extremist, nat social, dissident, forever rabbit hole Q holdouts, and just a few voices and a few bots. Woo! They can get mad. And then you're having counter trolling. This is hilarious. Gay ethno state 2050. I support my gay friends, my queer relatives, and everything else, man. But no, you're not building a gay ethno state. Boy, that was an epic troll. But really, nothing's going well for them. Uh, the judges have had it with uh with the MAGA lawyers in court. Oh, the trial of the judge who's charged with aiding the immigrant for evading arrest by ICE in the courtroom. Some of the testimony is laughable and laughably stupid on ICE's part. You know, they they make some outrageous claim about how this was a criminal conspiracy to thwart ICE throughout America. Did the hallway from the jury box lead out to the hallway where the ICE agents were standing? Yes, it did. And that's evasion how? I know they could have gone the other way and taken the stairs and gone into the internals of the courthouse building, but that's not what happened. He took another door and ended up at the same spot he would have gotten snatched anyways if he went out the main door of the courtroom. So listening to some of the excerpts of the questions and stuff has just been hilarious. Nothing they're doing is working. Nothing. Okay. Dan Bongiorno is about to leave the deputy FBI position, deputy director of the FBI position, to spend more time with his podcast. Okay. That's how much of a failure this jerk off is. He wasn't qualified to do that job whatsoever. And now, what, 8, 9 months so? He's bouncing. He's out. Man, this comment thread is insane. He doesn't have any standing. Hegseth is losing his support even in the Senate with Senate Republicans. They're going, nah, man, we want to see those tapes. What the fuck are you blowing up in the ocean, both in the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf of Baja on the West Coast and the Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean in the East Coast, heading towards South America? What are you doing? I mean, John Cornyn wants to see John Cornyn, Texas, right winger, right winger, right winger. Never played left wing in hockey. That's what I'm saying. Always played the right wing. Never left the boards. He wants the video of the fishing boat strikes released. So I haven't seen anything that has played into their favor in weeks. Vought is just turning up the bullshit. Miller is just turning up the racism. Hegseth is getting his alpha bra. Oh, I'm going to do more pull-ups because lethality pull-ups, man. I know a lot of Rangers. I know a lot of CID. I know a lot of MI. I know a bunch of Green Berets. Nobody talks like that. Fucking nobody. Oh my God. So how are they going to bullshit their way through this evening? We're going to find out in a few minutes. And another problem that they're really, really, really having right now is cover this while we're waiting for the live feed to come up is it ain't going well for the theocratic nationalist right. According to several sources, including Premier Christian News and the Pink News, nearly 200 anti-queer folk Christian leaders have been accused of child abuse just in 2025 alone. Okay. I think the number totals out to, before August, there was 138. From August to December, there was 50 more. So they're totaling up right now 188 arrests for a bunch of felonious child abuse, child sexual abuse, child sex trafficking charges against the people who've turned their life, their lifestyle, and part of their profession into being over the top pro queer haters, queer baiting, whatever you want to call it. These people to build their little fiefdom based on nonsense. They're the recycled hate preachers. I was just talking about the Klan and the CCC. The CCC, yeah, every preacher who wanted attention was on a CCC. We've got to keep that misogyny from happening. Okay. The latest guy to get pinched was out west, youth pastor Joshua David Kemper. I looked at his Facebook, the clips of his Facebook. This guy loves to hate on people. Okay. And he knows who causes all the crime, does all the sexual abuse, and lacks the morality. None are white Christians, men like himself. What did he get arrested for? Child sexual abuse. He was, and their favorite word, groomer. He was a groomer. He was grooming a 15-year-old girl for 4 months and got caught. Now, this is a guy that blamed America's downfall on trans ideology, and that's a quote, and blamed Charlie Kirk's death, his murder by another white nationalist gang member. Okay. Again, I'll say this 1,000 times so y'all get it. Charles Kirk's murder, not assassination, his murder was gang on gang right-wing violence. Okay. This preacher, Kemper, blamed trans people because they're all domestic terrorists for Charlie Kirk's murder. Except the guy who killed him had diarrhea of the mouth, both to his family and friends, and a local pastor, deacon, whatever his title was at the place of hokum. He texted Discord and said shit he should have never said. I mean, when defense lawyers tell you to shut the fuck up when you get arrested or you do shit, they're not kidding. Shut the fuck up. This guy that shot Kirk is physically incapable of shutting the fuck up. Okay? So it wasn't trans ideology that got a bullet out of a barrel and into Kirk's body. Okay? It was Gang A, the Kirk right-wing youth movement, versus Gang B, the Nick Fuentes, Groper, Candace Owen chaos side of the youth MAGA movement. They just collided. And what happened is one of them picked up a gun. And even though Kirk was wearing a bulletproof vest, and that's obvious in the video, he was wearing a vest, same type of vest I wore when I was doing VIP security, because I was wearing a suit and a jacket and a tie. You can't wear big level 4 body armor in that situation. But I wore a level 2 vest with a thinner L3 plate that was all concealable. You could barely tell I was wearing a vest in West Germany or California when I was guarding people. So he was wearing a concealable vest, and you saw the whole thing rise up, and his body did the auto reflex of the trauma of getting hit. When he went like the whole body seized up, you could see the top 2 arches of the panel raise up in his shirt. Okay, so yeah, he just shoot a little higher, and the vest becomes, not a problem. But yeah, it had nothing to do with transgender. It had nothing to do with transgender ideology. But this guy, this preacher in California, Josh Kemper, was convinced to his core that all crime, all evil deeds, all lack of morality was somebody else. He was posting this shit while he was talking to a 15-year-old girl for the purposes of engaging in illegal sexual contact. Okay. That's another thing that's not going well for the far right now. Okay. There are so many people on Ford's YouTube feed right now. I can't read the comments. They're scanning so fast, but all of a sudden there's a lot of Argentinian, American, and USA flags, and people are countering with the Ukraine flag. There's a little emoji war happening right here. Okay. A lot of taco emojis. We know what that's about. But let's see how the CIA, the cover your ass session, the angry cover your ass session should start in a minute. We'll hear it live. I've got the feed up. You'll hear it through my speakers. I may pause every once in a while just to tell you that, the obvious stuff, and then we'll do more of a fact check later. Um, no, he's not late. I'm on atomic time here. I'm on the clock at Microsoft time.microsoft plus the backup at the observatory in Pacific Grove. I'm on good time. He's got 1 minute. He's not late. People don't like him, and they're screaming hundreds of times in the comments. He's late. He's late. He's late. I'd be more worried if he was asleep, because he seems to be doing that a lot lately. I don't know. The older you get, the more you like naps. Oh my God. We want our oil back. That's a canard about Venezuela that's going around. It's going around Blue Sky and Substack. I commented on a couple of sites to let them know that the 1975 nationalization of oil in Venezuela was what they call a soft nationalization, like what Indonesia just did with nickel. They just want to make more money off the raw profit than open up the market. It's not a nationalization where they, like the Iran Revolution in '79, they just literally took all the gear, all the business, and said, it's mine now. That's not what happened in Venezuela in '75. US, Dutch, and Brit oil manufacturers not only were compensated under the '75 soft nationalization in Venezuela, they were given long-term contracts and made money off the service agreements. So this whole thing that Venezuela stole all our oil is a really like reductive, dumbly reductive statement, hoping that it only communicates to people with very, very low information. Okay. Chavez and Maduro did some straight up uh, exfilling of assets from other countries, sure, but that was the 2000s. Okay, by then we didn't have anything there. Okay, what we got out of there for was the shit that happened. What, 50 years ago? Here we go. Here we go. Brace yourselves, America. He can only speak in absolutes. It's not the highest inflation ever. The Great Depression had higher inflation. The oil embargo in the '70s, the Arab cutoff had higher. There were several instances were higher than what just happened with COVID and Biden's stimulus and everything else. But he only can speak in absolutes, which is horrible. That number keeps going up. He has literally raised that number from 8 million to 11 or 12 million for a couple of years. Now it's at 25. And now it's not terrorists or gangs, it's armies. Remember, he can only speak in escalative tones. All dictators. This is the 20th century dictator playbook. This is nothing new. In those extreme escalations of language only lead to absolutisms and extremisms. Oh, completely made up. I was just talking about this. I knew it would be seconds before he got to blaming trans for everything. Yeah, they're not laughing. They're leaving America. Okay. I talked about that in the last couple of videos. They're literally leaving America. Did you see the picture with the Japanese air boss at the back of the loading dock of the plane in flight with the fighters behind him? German air boss with the Japanese air boss. What that picture represented is Germany and Japan are going direct without America. Now Canada's joining safe in the EU. Okay. They won't be buying F-35s. They won't be buying American gear. They'll be buying EU gear. We'll be losing jobs. Tariffs, welcome, idiot. Career criminals. There is a woman working at the White House right now. He pardoned because she was dealing tons of cocaine with the cartels. She is now the pardon czar in the White House, a career criminal and convicted felon who pardons who else? Other drug dealers with ties to the cartels. And then he lets the cartels in the country and then refuses to brief Congress about it. The hate from America. I was just talking about the KKK and the CCCs. This Trump is doesn't have an original thought in his fucking head. Okay, this whole speak, how they're taking over, they're indoctrinating. Da, da. This is all. This is exactly what they said about jazz music. They're taking your kids from you because they're listening to the Negro jazz. Law-abiding people? You mean like the veterans they're ripping off the streets because they're not white, never committed a crime, are a U.S. citizen? At least two of them had their passports in their pocket or near in a nearby truck. We're protecting the law-abiding citizens. No, you're protecting the gang members around your orbit who are white and wealthy and corrupt as fuck. Okay, this is again, he cannot speak in anything except absolutism. Okay, this is the same bullshit about blowing up the fishing boats. If I blow up a fishing boat, all the cocaine and the phenol is gone and I win the drug war. If I say I close the border without actually doing it, nobody has ever crossed the border on my watch. Okay, let me tell you, in the Cold War, in the Iron Curtain, if you don't think Special Forces and MI got through that goddamn fortified wall all the time to do their work, you don't understand how easy it is to penetrate a wall. It was literally an armored fortress wall, East Germany, all the way down to Czechoslovakia, and we still penetrated it. Not me. That wasn't my job. I was a cop. But yeah, special forces and MI. I know for a fact compromised and breached that wall on a regular basis to do their intelligence runs. So if you think nobody got in the country because they're so scared to dear lead your southern wall policy, you don't understand immigration. You don't understand illegal immigration. You don't understand any of the drivers here. And it shows. Water isn't close. Crime was already going down before they did this, the FBI and the CIA and the national. That's a literal impossibility. This is a person with mental problems, or he's just a dictator willing to lie about anything. If you really think in 10 months you could drop the drug trade by 94%, you live in fucking Narnia, not the United States of America. This is pure idiocy. Okay, that was my war. Don't tell me how you fucking made drugs 94% of all drugs disappear in 10 months. You're totally full of shit. Teachers. Okay, Department of Education, they are going to get rid of it. The courts are going to tell them no, but they're going to do it anyways. McMahon's already halfway there. She's destroyed the functionality of the Department of Education. They just got to get rid of the administrative shell, and it's going to be gone. Um, in my book, it would be okay to get rid of the Department of Education if you made the House Education Committee get to fucking work. But they're not going to get to work, and we're not going to have a Department of Ed. This is simply the defunding of K through 12 in America. Also, some preschool, disabled care, adult education, just decimating education across the board because they don't want competitions for their white kids who attended an Ivy League school. We have had the most powerful military since 1942. That has not changed. His small dick energy here that, oh, only when I'm president do we have a good military. Our military can kick anybody else's ass. We can't hold the ground. That's what Iraq proved, and that's what about Venezuela is about to repeat. But if you want to talk about the ability to knock over a country, we're it. We in fact have the biggest, baddest military, and that has been true since 1942. It has nothing to do with you, asshole. Has nothing to do with that blowhard Pete Hegseth and his pull-ups. Obviously, neither one of these guys have ever met a motherfucking Green Beret. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. The big bankruptcy bullshit bill, 4 trillion off the top out of the treasury goes directly to him and his cabinet and his campaign donors. 4% inflation right now and free. Okay, that was COVID. That wasn't Biden's policy. It was a supply chain problem and a distribution problem caused by COVID. The fuck it was. My wife took a picture of the turkey at the supermarket and texted me, and she goes, "Is this a lot for a 15-pound turkey?" I almost spit out my beer. There is a curve on some products, but most of the products still suffer from the tariff effect. Okay. Because remember, he's tariffed everything from every country. So even if there was a cost curve down, that it would have been more down on that product if he didn't have the fucking tariffs to begin with. Again, I'm going to lay this out. I'm going to get the transcript. I'm going to go hog wild on this later. That's selective data. He used the general number for Biden. Now he's using a specific industry and a specific role to show his numbers. This is how you lie with data. I'm a data engineer. I know when people do fuck up things with data and statistics. This is dangerous. The energy policy should be working on next generation nuclear. I've talked about that and I will continue to talk about that. Next gen nuclears, regional natural gas, solar, wind, hydro, whatever the fuck we can else think of renewables. The future of America is renewable. It's not fucking coal. There's no such thing as clean coal. There is more shit bad left over in a coal slag pond than what comes out of a nuclear reactor. Yeah, and you know you can recycle the shit that comes out of the nuclear reactor after a couple of years. Once the strontium 90 and the cesium 137 half lives get down enough, then we reprocess, get that uranium 235, 238, and if you're using a MOX reactor, some plutonium, and we can put that up, we can recycle it, take the good stuff we need for the energy fuel back in, and take all those isotopes. We're just a tiny part of the fission product. The total, we put most of the stuff back into the next load in the reactor. His coal shit is lobbyist blowjob bullshit. Not Is that a factor of population or a factor of policy? Back of envelope and intuition tells me it's population. Because you laid off all the government workers. No shit. Okay, I talked about in the last video. I'm not going to go into depth of this. Jump back to the last one. I told you about this. $18 trillion is total fucking horse shit. He would have already melted down the economy, and a gallon of diesel would be $93 a gallon. A yard of concrete? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you have a couple of $1 million at hand? I'm coming for tariff. That's not true. And his administration is admitting that's not true. Even if we build in America, the supply chain is global. We're it doesn't matter whether you're in or out of America. I talked about this too. That's why companies are leaving. Do I want to pay three, four, five, six tariffs, or do I want to pay one on the final import? He doesn't even know how tariffs work. Yet they're his favorite word. This absolutism bullshit. I'm so sick and tired of it. I hope you are too. I hope the mainstream Republicans get sick and tired of he cannot talk in normal terms. The country was not dead a year ago. Idiot. We were a $23.5 trillion economy, kicking everybody's asses on planet Earth. Okay, California is the number four economy. Excuse me, the number four economy on planet Earth. We just passed Japan. Okay, Texas and Florida, if you made them their own economy, would still be in like the top 30. But America was dead. Does that include Texas and Florida? In Oklahoma and Nebraska, who are, I mean, that whole corridor, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Texas, all the way to North Mexico, that's the industrial zone right now. It's bombastically kicking ass, has been for a decade. Where the fuck are you getting this information? Or is this all dementia and mental illness, grievance, and animus, like I keep saying? We're the hottest, just like Ivanka's the hottest, man. Hot, hot like my daughter. What a fucking degenerate. This is the problem with having a tiny vocabulary. Okay. Here's a bit of dad advice for everybody: buy a fucking dictionary, an unabridged one. Words are fun. You don't have to speak in absolutism all the time. No, you'll be experiencing more temporary tax refunds, including for auto loan interest, $10,000 a year for the next 3 years, but then it goes away. Just like all the middle class tax cuts of his first term's tax bill and the BBB, they go away for us. They're permanent for him and his cabinet and his campaign donors. Did you ever see the movie Used Cars with Kurt Russell? It's the commercial in Used Cars. Go find it on YouTube. I'm the best used car salesman ever. Yeehaw! This is pure jingoism. What the fuck does this have to do with anything? He can't spend money without Congress. Did the House authorize a 1776 dividend. Remember I talked to you about the guy that was going to leave Congress? Because he created Liberty 1776 LLC to rob money from his own campaign fund pool. So I can just imagine what this shit's about. I got to fact check the fuck out of that, because where the fuck are you giving them money to hand out dividends to 4.5 million people? It's the same bullshit as the Doge dividend, which they've lied about twice. First it was 5,000. This round it's 2,000. But how many checks have arrived in mailboxes? Zero. Okay, I'm not speaking for combat vets. I was a peacetime vet and I was a cop in the military, and I was a cop after I got out of the military. Okay. But when I listen to combat vets, including the ones here on Substack, they want their fucking VA. Okay. They don't want paperwork that blocks them from getting mental health care. They don't want their friends they served with in a combat zone blowing their fucking brains out on the steps of the VA, which happened just north of here. Marine Colonel, right on the steps, sitting on his DD 214 and his VA records. We don't want a dividend. We want our fucking benefits. How the fuck is he legally taking the revenue and just paying it out as payola to who he thinks are supporters? This is illegal as fuck. Record enlistment compared to Vietnam, Korea, or World War II? I doubt that. I'll look that up. Okay, this is the first day of the first term. He was going to lower your prescription drugs. What has he done? Nothing. What dividends check did you get? Nothing. He can't do math. I'm going to spend $100 on a prescription, and the company who sells the drug is going to give me $600 minus the $100 back. The fact is, what troubles me is people believe the shit. You're ripping us off now. The only way our pharmacy prices go down if they allow everybody to negotiate, including Medicare and VA, and they get rid of the pharmacy benefit managers, the middlemen raking in the cash for telling you what drugs you can't have, even though you medically need them and your doctor prescribed them. So this is just horrific bullshit. Our healthcare reform, our replacement for the Affordable Care Act, is fuck off and die. Most favored nation has been a thing for 40 years. God. He doesn't know math. He doesn't know how an actuary table works. Okay, I described this in my last video. You're gonna get a couple of thousands of dollars as a dividend check, and that's gonna cover an accident like I was in that cost $252,000 plus about another 20,000 in incidentals, the ambulance, dentistry to replace a couple of teeth that got knocked out, yada yada yada. Um, you're dumb as fuck on this topic, and every word you say shows it. I talked about this last time. The Swiss have a private system. They still have to subsidize the people who don't make enough money. Jesus fucking Christ. You can't just throw a dollar amount at people and go, oh, there you go. We'll pay for your cancer or your heart attack. It made insurance companies pay for things they didn't want to pay for, including pre existing conditions, uh, expensive pharmaceuticals, including some experimentals and biologicals, and a lot of other costs they were shirking and just throwing back onto the American consumer. The problem with the Affordable Care Act, it simply didn't go far enough. This is peak left right orthodoxy. The insurance companies only give money to the Democrats. Okay, that's easily disproven bullshit. Go to opensecrets.org. Go by topic, look at healthcare donations and see how it's split. It's nearly 50-50. The tariff collection pool is a slush fund. He just said that. I'm going to pay payola out of it to my supporters, dividend checks out of my bullshit. Okay. Okay. Go watch Mr. Global, Matt Rudolph. Okay. There's areas in the country that are going to see their electrical bills go higher than their rent and their mortgage. Their natural gas bills go higher than their rent or their mortgage this winter. The natural gas market is so fucked up, and they keep exporting more and more overseas, leaving less for clean energy generation and reasonable electrical rates. He's destroying all of that with the help of Congress, of course. That's not the way you should report these monies. You report the average of the median loss. Um, you don't have these gigantic ranges. What did the average homeowner lose? What is the impact and a percentage to the median head of household? This is how you bullshit your way through things. It was $1.99 yesterday, and he was praising himself about how, oh my God, the instant I became president, the average price was gasoline was $1.99. It hasn't been that as an average. No. There's been some low to $2 ranges. Um, I don't know. I haven't looked it up today, so I don't know if 250 is a lie or not. But this is shifting every day. He shifts to the number he thinks you'll believe. Okay, it takes natural gas power plants 3 to 5 years to build one. a nuclear energy plant, which we're way behind on. We need 25 new next generation nuclear power plants, and we needed them 10 years ago. Okay. That's 5, 7 to 10 years. Tomorrow morning, you're all going to be rich with a dividend check from Liberty 1776 LLC. How? Last week, he was telling us we had to change all the mortgages to 50-year mortgages. I did that analysis already. 50-year mortgages is just fucking hitting the middle class in the head with a baseball bat. Destroys resale at the sweet spot of 12 years, eliminates an entire class, probably the first three quintiles of the economy out from home ownership because you'll never qualify for a 50. You're talking about a loan that on average will be your entire career, your entire work life. Okay. If you think the 30-year qualifiers is going to be the 50-year qualifiers, then you don't know how home mortgages work. You're going to fire them. You're going to fire 2 weeks. Completely debunked. Putting tariffs on softwood lumber from Canada and then re-tariffing them again is is the main component. The subcomponent is all your metal tariffs, your aluminum, steel, nickel, copper. What do you need to build a home? Aluminum, steel, nickel, and copper. They're all been tariffed wildly. The whole alien invasion bought up all the homes. Abject fucking lie. White nationalist grievance, white nationalist lie. Absolutism again. Ah! 'Kay. Alright. I can't tell you the number I know. It's so bad. I will tell you everything else that's bad, but I won't tell you the number that the law enforcement had to spend. Are you fucking kidding me? He sounds like a lying 7-year-old boy who got caught lighting shit on fire in the backyard. Oh, there's magical mystery problems in our system. We can't afford the police anymore because immigrants and Democrats. I'm not even a Democrat. I can tell you that's total fucking horseshit. We need the labor to grow. I doubt that. Okay, the insane absolutism again. I closed the border. Not a single person made it over the border. That's not even physically fucking possible. Just like the $18 trillion is physically impossible to inject into the economy. It is impossible to say. Being a retired cop from one of the most immigrant dense counties in America, I can fucking tell you That isn't impossible. That 100% of the jobs went to good old fashioned red hat wearing, American flag waving, black people hating, Jew hating, but Israel supporting proud patriot Americans. That's bullshit. Senator 30 plus convicted felon. Open racism. I covered this. It was 180 to $230 million, involved a large gang of people setting up fake food kitchens, and they all got caught by the FBI. Most of them were U.S. citizens, by the way. Okay, you didn't put the end to shit. The FBI did. Then you put two ass clowns in charge of the FBI. One is already quitting, Bongino, and the other one's been shown the door by multiple reports. Patel's out the door by January. Okay. Idiot number two is it has to go back to his podcast next week. Oh, John, is that me? You see, he can't say words tonight again. Anniversary wasn't the first word he fucked up. It was like his 28th. Oh, John. Exactly when you came on the fucking asshole. Fuck you. You believe in God less than I do. You lying twat. Yeah, flex at the end. Oh, did I look tough? Do I look like I have a big penis, not a mushroom dick, like Stormy Daniels said? Okay, can't wait to get a hold of that transcript. Can't wait to fact check the shit out of that. I mean, where do you go when you're dealing with this level of bullshit? Jobs have never been better. Really? Then how do you explain the government layoffs, the retail layoffs, and the tech layoffs? Oh, and the oil rig shutdowns and the oil industry layoffs. The bleak oil picture, the bleak oil industry, the bleak oil labor picture that Matt Rudolph, Mr. Global's been painting on his channel. And when you have to confront the information, the complete nonsense that is claiming to be information that's coming right out of this loser's mouth, start with the concepts he's using because they're all psychological concepts. Okay, this is the evil side of IPC, interpersonnel communication. You know, you could have taken the Tate brothers or Alex Jones or some convict in, Florida State prison with 5 life sentences for being a serial rapist, and you would have gotten the same tone. Everything is absolutism. I am your savior. The world sucks. You suck. The country sucks. Without me, you will die. Hello, Nikolai Ceausescu holding line 1. White courtesy phone. Attention, white courtesy phone. Ceausescu holding white courtesy phone. And this is exactly what you get when you don't have a functional Congress, which we don't have. If it wasn't for the district courts at the federal level, the Constitution would have already been dismissed. And I'm not saying that hyperbolically or a short circuit or whatever. I truly believe that if it wasn't for the district courts standing up, we'd be toast right now. There would be no constitutional protections against illegal search and seizure. You would have to provide evidence against you. You do not have the right to a free press, free assembly, or free speech. You only have the right to freedom of religion as long as that religion is a politicized and bastardized version of evangelical Christianity or like Opus Dei far right Catholic stuff. The end times kooky, the rapture bullshit artists. The rapture was made up in the 1800s. It has nothing to do with the origins of Christianity or the Bible. Nothing. Nothing. Our Israel foreign policy is based on the rapture, something that doesn't exist in their religion. But they say their religion makes all their decisions for them and elects people like dear leader porn star Humper as our leader because he's such a godly man. You deported a little kid who's going through cancer treatment. You consider yourself a godly person? Okay. One, I think that's a bullshit title. Are you a moral person? Are you an ethical person? Also, are you a well-informed person? Do you know the difference between shit and shinola? A lot of people that listen to this bullshit tonight literally cannot tell the difference between shit and shinola. That's a problem. There's a few people in Congress, either because they're idiots too, or by willful ignorance, they can't tell the difference either. And I'm sure people are going to be talking about this. His speech problem's getting worse. And I have problems because I have dental issues. And I will screw up words because I have to make sure my mouth is very much in the right position, or I will get too much of the S and teeth sounds and some of the puh, too much overreaction. That's why I really got to be careful where my mouth is when I'm using my stage microphone. And I have to make sure that I have a good mouth motion, or I end up making really weird pronunciation mistakes. And it's because of my teeth. I don't think it's his teeth. I don't think that's the reason why he keeps screwing up words like anniversary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for the transcript to be posted. I'm going to go through it, and then I'll probably push up Speaking very clearly. Thank you, Judy. Yeah, as long as I concentrate and I remember, and it's not just like having this problem after years of problems, plus having a couple of teeth knocked out and fake teeth being there. Um, it's also just a matter of having a good stage presence. I used to professionally record videos. I was a marketing engineer, so I had to do a lot of indicia and content for the company. And I really have to get into the mode. I have to down pitch my voice. I have to slow my cadence a couple of beats per second. And then I have to speak extraordinarily clearly, or it gets messy quick. So anytime I'm on camera and I'm talking, I got to remember that. But thank you. I'm glad I'm sounding good. I'm making sense, and you can all hear me. Um, and I'm not making light about possible dementia problems with Dear Lear Porn Star Humper. That's a problem. That's a governance problem. That's the evil man with the king's ear problem. Lord of the Rings, the evil guy talking into the captured king's ear. Um, that's a national security problem. He can be influenced by people if he is not of sound mind. Um, Now, JD Vance is such a tool in the cabinet are just alkalites. Okay. They'll never invoke the 21st. The 25th, sorry. 21st gave us alcohol back. Yay. Especially tonight's like this. Yay. Um, yeah. So let me find the transcript. I'll do debunking. I'll post an essay on it. Probably do some follow-up commentary as well. But I didn't like anything I heard in the tone I heard it in. No, I'd love for the economy to bounce back in 2026. Okay. That's not going to happen. Not with tariffs, not with record high natural gas prices. His whole thing, like some of the things are so obviously false. Like, I closed the southern border. Zero people got in. Only Americans got jobs. Cheapest energy prices. Biggest military. No, these are all just knowing fabrications. And I was just saying the other day that the really hard part about this is people are now realizing and understanding across the board, even the rally people with way too much Trump indicia on their body, never mind just the red hat. I mean, they're covered head to toe in regalia. The regalia people are even figuring out that this is not true. What they're holding on to is the sunken cost fallacy. They're digging their nails in, holding on for dear life, hoping by some lotto dream chance that this shit will come out true and work in the end for them. But the system is designed for them to fail. It counts on them failing. Okay. So that was horrible. I would rate that what did he give himself the other day? A plus 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 plus. I would give this an F minus 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 minus. Because there's too much bullshit. His policies say basically the opposite of what he's claiming. His policies don't have anything behind them. All we have is animus, grievance, and whim. That doesn't make policy. You're never going to get a fucking trade deal if you don't start hiring the people who work on the trade committees, who figure out the maths. He thinks it's about like a hand of poker, and then you get a trade deal. That's not how trade deals work. Okay. So 2026 is lining up to be an ever loving freaking disaster. And it's going to take a lot of a business out. It's going to take a lot of farmers out. It's going to take a lot of sole proprietor local businesses, your hair salons, your local restaurants, your pizza joints, your delis, your PC repair, mobile repair shops. It's going to crush a lot of people. Okay. Uh, and if this crap was supposed to invoke confidence, it did the opposite. All you showed was the same stuff we hate already. Grievance isn't a policy. Made up numbers is not an outcome. So won't sit here and gripe. I'll get the facts. I'll pull the transcript. I'll run it through, do the research. I'll publish something real quick. And then again, we got to move straight toward what the hell we're going to do to survive the turbulent times in 2026. And how the hell do we get to a midterms and get the Congress we don't want? We get the Congress we need if we're going to continue to be America. Okay. Until next time, think about it.